Hello everybody, this is again in continuations to the previous slide. uh, I'm going to talk about the third defense layer, which will actually help to enhance the immunity of the body. So uh, this is to take you through the acquired third layer of defense mechanisms. In this layer, the B cells and T cells are the main components of the body parts that involved in the defense system. This kind of defense systems are called acquired immunity, meaning this action of B cells and T cells will result in the adaptive immunity. So which means that this is not an innate immunity. So we have already completed first layer, and second layers are the innate immunity, and third layer we are going for the acquired immunity. Right now, here what I'm going to show you is the acquired immunity, which we have already discussed earlier. The immunity is that helps to actually to resist certain microbes entering to your body, and these kind of immunity are of a two type, active and passive, which we have already known. Let's look at these now. When we say this an active immunity is involvement of the microbe itself. When the real microbes enter to the body, and if our body produce a certain immune system after the entry of natural pathogens, that is called active immunity. In order to happen this, it takes quite some time, and that period is called latent period, or we say that the infection period, and the latent period is a period at which there is no sign or symptoms are shown, and there is a negative phase where there is certain period there will be there is some compromisations of our immune system. Finally that would be, of course, it's being overcome. This immune system is again active immune system is also called a secondary response. There is two type of response, a primary response and a secondary response. If an individual previously exposed to an antigens, and same antigen attacks again after a certain period of time, these adaptive immunity shows once more these will respond back to that pathogen. So second time entry can be easily overcome by the adaptive immunity. It is also associated with immunological memory, meaning in this third line of defense there will be a memory of attack by the certain pathogens, and this memory will be retained, so that in case second time, if there is a second time attack by the same microbes, would be easily be recognized and can be destroyed much faster. Okay, and these secondary response are more effective than primary response. Okay, immunity is a natural. So when we say natural, these are the some of the poliovirus, measles, chicken pox, and common colds and influenza. These are the various types of immunity that we get from the hospital. As soon as a child is born, then child has to undergo certain immunization during certain at a certain schedule. So these immunizations is ultimately what we are doing is we are trying to get natural active immunity. Why it's called natural? Because we are using a real bacteria or the virus, although it is not directly from the environment, but it is being preserved attenuated, which means it has been applied certain heat and then killed and preserved. And these virus, when it's being entered to the body, then body will recognize it as foreign, and there will be B cells and T cells will be actively working, and it will try to keep a memory, and that's how this immune system is being developed by the body. And in case second time attack, this memory cell will act on it. Active natural, again in case of these are bacterials, so these are like example is typhoids, which can be treated in a similar manner. The active and artificial is being which we have already knew that artificials, most of the time this artificial immune is something that is being killed, or the byproduct is being put into the body, so that the real pathogens need not have to be put into the body. If we put real pathogen, sometime it causes harm to the body, and therefore sometimes they use this kind of virus, either the bacterial product or killed one or the live one. This is as a sometimes you use a booster dose, which means for prolonged period of immunizations, you need to remind your body again and again to protect itself from certain pathogens. Okay, these are the different, like live vaccines. How can we use the live vaccines? Live vaccine means it is administering orally or parentally, meaning from the from the parents while they were in the womb, so mother is being immunized. And the killed one, sometimes we use a dose as a killed adjunct, the crushed and certain part of the body of the pathogens can be used. And now the passive immunity is a use of the colostrum is the one, and from the mother's placenta it keeps on passing the antibody or certain chemicals that will protect. Again, this mother's milk contains IgA. You will understand what is IgA, is an immunoglobulin A. This immunoglobulin A is also very useful for the protections of growing baby from the other pathogens. The human fetus is also able to synthesize IgM over from the 20th week onwards. So this is also some you see, this is preparing itself to become more immune. Okay, then we go to next slides, and then this is a passive passive and natural immunity. The transport of antibody across the placenta is a passive, and it is a natural, we call it, because it is not really dependent on to the dosage. Okay, and then when we say active, then we need to put artificial active, meaning we are totally depend on certain what you call antibodies or the drugs. So these are some of the examples of how different drugs is being administered into the body. So this is a process of artificial immunization. Once more, this is again how serum is being used for the treatment. Today, if you have kept update with the news, COVID-19's disease are being treated using the human serum. People who has got infected once and then got all right, such people's blood serums contains antibody that is against the COVID-19, and therefore this blood serum is being injected to the person who gets tested positive, so that this person gets immune to the body system before really the COVID attacks the person. So such kind of this is normally the antibodies are derived from the horse, and the horse is being injected with the live pathogen. Horse will suffer for some time, and it will be all right. Once it is all right, then we extract the blood and then separate the serum, and serum contains the antibody which will act against that pathogen. So this can be used to the any other human or the animals for treating that particular pathogens. Okay, then let me show you how B cells and T cells, when I say in this third layer of defense cells, the B cells and T cells are involved. So how the B cells and T cells are produced by the bone marrow. These are called lymphoid cells, and these B cells produce antibody which is exactly against the antigens. The antigen is a pathogen. The pathogen that enters to the body will activate these cells. See here, these B cells knew that there is some antigens that has entered to the body, or the pathogen that has entered to the body. It will give interleukin 2 or 4 or 5 to the it will signal to the B cells, and then B cells will produce a lot of antibodies which is exactly against the pathogens. Alright, so B cells will try to produce antibody which will be exactly complementary to the antigen, so that this will get destroyed by the antibody. Okay, so the B cell needs the help of T cells to inform and prepare itself. That is called activations. Similarly, T cells also gets activated only upon the entry of a virus. That is why this happens right inside the core of the body. So once the antigen or virus enters to the body cells, these body cell will inform to the will get infected and will inform to the T cells. T cells will produce a cytokinins which will activate the T cells. So once T cells get activated, it multiplies itself, replicates itself, and then that will go and directly attack the infected cells, or it will also inform the phagocyte which will go and engulf this infected cell. So there is a two ways. So this is how the T cells gets activated when the virus reaches to third layer of defense. This is all about protections of our body by different groups of cells. These two cells are very, very specific. They will produce chemicals that will destroy the foreign particles, as well as it will also keep the memory of these pathogens in the event if this virus enters a second time, it gets destroyed automatically. Alright, now this is the summary of whole process. The invading pathogens enter from the body, from the external, the first layer, and second layer. This is first layer, the skin mucus. This will try to protect it. If not, it will enter to the second layer. In the second layer, the phagocyte, neutrophil, antibacterial protein, natural killer cell will act upon it. But however, if they cannot, then it will enter to the third layer. In the third layer, it will be acted upon by the humoral response and then cell mediated response, that is B cells and T cells. The first two layers are innate immunity, and third layer is passive, brings a passive immunity, brings the adaptive immunity. So this is just to know about why scientists are not able to produce certain medicines for some of the disease, like the common is over for last 10 years, the vaccines, there is no effective vaccine for even for the malaria, the dengue fever, which is so risky. This is because of one of the thing is complexity of the development of parasites. Its life cycle is very, very complex. Okay, and then another thing is that there are a lot of obstacles for the development of particular vaccines, right? And then every malarial parasite gets genetically modified over years, and that also has a problem of producing certain medicine, and that is the reasons for us to understand why COVID-19 is having no medicines yet and no vaccines, although people claim that there is certain vaccine, but there is no effective vaccine for COVID-19. Okay, I think with this I'll just end it. So what you have to understand is you have in this presentation I have taken you to the third defense layer, and then you must understand the how B cells and T cells will help to bring the adaptive immunity. Thank you.